Welcome to the 3DViewStation version 2020 news. Let's start as usual at our landing page to see the exposure. You see some additions on the landing page with a little bit more hints regarding VisShare, some updated graphics. And as always, if we move over to the blog space, you will find a summary of everything which has been enhanced during the last couple of months, and which we will go through during this video. So besides the blog, of course, we also have this similar information in the news section, just limited to latest releases of our products. Let's start with user interface changes. So we have moved the accelerator bar to the top in the default layout. And what we introduced is we try to fresh a little bit up the colors of our UI of 3DViewStation. You can now choose between a whole set of various colors. Maybe you choose one which is as close as you like to your corporate colors. And yeah, we still have the few of the older layouts a little bit more down. Also, we added some user interface configurations in terms of which ribbons should be there or not. So there's a very small user interface layout to show you what you could do if you like to customize it, and also to make it easier for prospects to identify which capabilities are located in which option modules you can now switch and between the respective user interfaces. So if you look for TechDoc, you turn on TechDoc and you see the TechDoc ribbon. Should make it easier for you to choose for the right product. Another minor change is we started adding a status bar. The status bar will grow. You see a little bit information about like file formats and for now also a number of selected objects, for instance. This will grow, and maybe also the progress bar will move down to there. Wire colors. You can turn on and off wires in the default. In the past, wires have always been black. We now added a few new options to change the wire colors. I prefer the vertex color, but it's not all the time existent in all models. Yeah, but you can set your preference to make that appearance a little bit nicer. The wire colors can also be set, of course, inside the settings. So let's search for the wires and you will find the respective area in the settings. On the neighborhood search side, this was actually part of the 2019.1 release. We have first of all modified this sphere selection. So the sphere was more or less static. You could change the radius by value. Now you can interactively change the radius. You can move this sphere interactively, and we got a few more options or what kind of selection you would like to do. Only all parts inside this the sphere, also intersecting the sphere, or only everything outside the sphere. The second one is a box. So you select an object, and we will draw a bounding box. And if you select that, you get everything according to the selection options inside or intersecting. If you select a couple of objects, you can now decide if you would like to have individual boxes or if you would like to combine both boxes to a single one. And of course, if you touch the faces of the box, you can now also modify that and do your selections. Yeah, this is a typical approach in aerospace and shipbuilding, which they call boxing and zoning. Yeah. You could also use predefined geometric boxes in your model. Yeah, well, let's do another selection, going back and select everything which is intersecting or residing inside the model. So you can play with that a little bit more. I'm resizing the box all the time, and now I'm just going for all objects which are completely outside of that box we have been using. Another very helpful tool is a linear distance selection. It also belongs to the neighborhood search. So it's typically used with piping objects. Yeah, so you select an object, and if you then touch the object and also hold your left mouse button and move it a little bit, then you get a kind of an insulation shape, and now you get everything selected, which is completely close to that shape. Merging objects is sometimes also a kind of helper, especially for clash detection and stuff like that. So if you would like to merge a couple of objects to a single one. So whenever you will select one of the various parts in the future, they will behave like a single one. Yeah, so this is something we cannot revert. That the reason why we have this dialog there, warning that there's no undo possible, and you can either select and merge a couple of objects to a single one, or you can go and say, okay, everything which is in a subassembly should be merged to a single object. Yeah, so this is also, yeah, for making selections easier. Could also be for kind of IP protection. You're saying, okay, you do not want to give them access to the single parts. Yeah. Clash. We have been investing a lot of time into Clash, and then let's use it now in default mode. So what you see is, and first step, what we do, it's very fast, and what we show in the default is just the intersection curves, which haven't been there before. So the remaining options like zoom fit or not, it's still the same. If you zoom on the Clash area, it's nice to see in detail where it is. If you disable the automatic zoom, then it's maybe easier to find out where it is inside the model. Now, if we turn on the remaining options, like intersection volume calculation, penetration test, and with every single option, the calculation time will significantly increase. So now we will get new characteristics like intersection volume, and I just sorted the resulting table by volume, and we can quickly step through that. And we believe this is really very nice rendering where you can see how large its section volume is. This one here is a penetration test. So this little line there shows you how far you have to move the part to resolve the clash. So all the different things have different colors. The intersection volume here has been set to yellow, the penetration test to magenta, and so forth. Also, if we go in here, you can see all of that, intersection curves, you can see the intersection volume. Very nice rendering. And so, using the ghost, you can still see where in the assembly roughly the clash occurs. Very quick going through there. So if you would like to reuse those data, you can copy to clipboard or directly save to a CSV file. I copy to clipboard, I paste it into Excel, and you could continue working in Excel with that. We renamed the known filter function to search because it's actually more than filtering, and we added at the same time the capability to filter in between PMIs. So if anything which is a PMI or, by the way, a markup can be filtered. Now let's use any kind of values. You probably need to use wildcards if you do not know the exact value. And we are showing the results here with some with the appropriate selections. So the PMI is selected and also the associated feature is selected. And you can also do the same search through the markups, the 3D markups. That's new. And finally, the one capability which is related to 2D is font replacement. So in the past we had a single font to replace all fonts which we were missing. Now 3DViewStation shows you first of all which fonts could not be found. And you can decide either to use a single default font or to maintain a table. So for that purpose, the existing, the last font replacement table will be loaded, and the new font which could not be found will be added, and after that the drawing will be loaded. So it's the font replacement table is located in the user directory, so you can modify it, you can erase lines, and with every single drawing the new fonts will be added. Yeah, that's more or less all about version 2020. Happy working with 3DViewStation.